Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Raj and Rich Show.
Episode 7.
Episode 7.
Here comes the boom.
So we're now tied with Star Wars.
Ooh. I like Star Wars.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Alright, this is
Raj.
And I am Rich.
He wishes.
I always do. And so here we are. Sorry if I seem a little tired and out of it for this show.
He's old.
Unfortunately, I have gout, and I ate way too much damn turkey, and I knew better, but I love fucking turkey at Thanksgiving, so I ate a lot of it, and I'm in a lot of pain.
You keep telling yourself that. You're just old.
Yeah. Well, and I was reaving today and yelling out a lot of shit, so my voice is kind of crackly. It happens. You know, but hey, I had a lot of fun doing it today.
It also doesn't help you smoke like 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
I do not smoke 2 packs of cigarettes. In fact, I bought this like yesterday morning, and I still got almost a whole pack.
Okay, pack and a half.
So I'm not even there anymore. I was when I was a FedEx. I was there when I was a FedEx driver, but not anymore. So anyway, folks, how you doing? I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with family or friends, or if you were by yourself, which I've done that on Thanksgiving. The Hungry Man does make a Thanksgiving feast and microwavable meal.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're alone watching porn, I mean, and eating Thanksgiving dinner, that,
and Cheetos while ripping it out.
Yeah. Hey, look, you know, if whatever floats your boat and finds your lost remote, right?
Right.
There you go. So I'm not going to judge. I'm not a judging kind of person. I do all
Says
kinds
who?
of strange shit. I do not judge.
You judge me sometimes.
Well, yeah, but
And A&S and stuff.
well, yeah. Okay. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Sometimes.
People ask me to judge A&S because I give no fucks about who enters what.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how I reeve too. I was like, I give no fuck. I don't give a damn who you are.
It's very objective, not subjective.
Yeah, that's why I'm a Paragon Reeve and been a Paragon Reeve for a very long time.
There
Well,
you go.
I got it back when it was a Masterhood.
Uh-huh.
Long time ago. Hey, look, the studio's on fire.
Oh, fuck.
At least that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's okay. But anyway, folks, so like I said, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday with your family. We had a great Thanksgiving here. We had 2 turkeys, ham, we had all kinds of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
What did you think of mine, since you were the premier chef?
Oh, shit.
What did you think of my specially injected turkeys after we had to modify the injector because it broke the moment I opened the package?
So the injected turkey was actually pretty good. It was really nice and moist.
Okay.
The smoked turkey came out a little dry, but
It did.
But all in all, it had pretty good flavor. It was really nice and tender.
Okay,
it was good.
All right, cool. What do you think? How much do you think it would cost if we tried to throw a feast like that for an event?
Let's not get into that.
Oh, okay. So
because there's a lot that went into it.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying, is that because I mean, just for feeding 5 of us, I spent close to almost $300.
Yeah, just about.
You know, including the $50 gift certificate I got from my boss. So I mean, it was almost $300 worth of food.
Just about.
So imagine us having to do that for a Kingdom event. They wouldn't make any money.
No, they
wouldn't make any money. We'd have to let them know right off the bat, you're not making a dime off of this.
Yeah.
The feast is going to be the event. That's pretty much going to be it.
Yep.
How many walkers in the middle? 3. I am a 3-time walker in the middle, even though the ROP for walker in the middle says you're only supposed to get 1. I am a 3-time walker in the middle. I figure if I get 2 more, I'm just going to start doing spin-a-roonies like Booker T and start going 5 times, say that 5 times, walker in the middle. You know, I guess I won't be able to do that now because Orc is very much used by everybody, so I don't think I could get 2 more. I got those 3 and they were all pre-Orc.
There you go.
You know, and I tried explaining what I got. I'm like, I already got 1. They're like, well, here, get another one. I'm like, you can't fucking do that.
So, you went to Slaughter Creek today for the Kingdom visit.
I did. It was originally supposed to be a raid, but the raid didn't happen, but we still had fun.
Okay.
You know, like a lot of other people like to review little get-togethers. They do their good, bad, and ugly. The good part about it was there was a lot of fun sitting and talking with people, but I will say that Thad and Scorpion kept everybody moving.
Scorpion's good people.
And a lot of gaming going on, so we had a really good time. If those of y'all missed coming out to Slaughter Creek today, you missed some fun. We had a good time, but you know, not everybody can go to one park. We've got to, you know, keep the other individual parks covered and running.
I'm not like the Slaughter Creek.
You know, oh well, I mean that's you know.
It is me.
But still, so the good about it, that was definitely good. The people, the you know, the fellowship and the games were good. Well, okay, I will say for the part games were good. My bad. I'm a fat guy. Okay? I'm a fat guy. If it involved dragging a 2,000-pound pallet across the battlefield, I'd have everybody's ass kicked. Because I do that every day for work.
Yeah.
Okay, but it didn't. It was cardio. And I hate cardio. I hate running all the time. And when I finally scored a point in the game, in the Bell game, I said, fuck this, I'm not running anymore. And I just started defending our Bell. You know, but a lot of people had fun with it. For me, it was just bad because I don't do cardio games. I'm more of a methodical kind of person, mainly because I'm fat and I don't like to move at a high rate of speed.
It's all about tactics.
You know, the ugly. Okay.
Thad.
Well,
Heather.
Okay, Thad. Okay. I'm not gonna go there. You can go there, but you know,
I'm sorry, not Heather specifically. I mean her dreads.
She didn't have them in.
Really?
No, they were not there.
Wow, that's
she had
first.
her hair out like normal. No, the ugly though. I will say this because I didn't discuss with you with this beforehand. There was a lot of fucking headshots today.
Ooh.
Like I even looked at our Kingdom Champion episode. I said, dude, there is a lot of fucking problems with headshots, and he's like, yes, there is. There's a lot of headshot issues. And a lot of it, because I read the rest of the day, like usual, was people were running and striking, and they were doing it like off tilting while they were doing it. And so their shots, they weren't even really paying attention to their shots. They thought they were hitting a body part. Well, they were, but it was their head because they were swinging high.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
Poor Barrick got struck in the face so many freaking times today. And then his glasses, he got hit in the face so hard where his glasses were cut into both sides of his nostril. Both sides of his nose got cut from his glasses.
Nice.
It was just a mess of headshots today. There was a whole lot of them. And I'm going to tell you people right now, unless you practice striking on the run, which I do that even with my wizard stuff when any class that requires throwing spell balls, I practice while running. Because a lot of times when you're a wizard, as soon as they, or a mage with a spell ball, as soon as they see you getting ready to throw it, either one, they're going to stand there and wait to dodge it, or they're going to chase after you. So you got to get good at throwing them.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you've ever played baseball, you've got to learn how to throw a ball on the run.
Yes.
Okay? So I practice running and striking objects, you know, while I'm running to try and target. And that's what a lot of people need to learn how to do is if you're going to, you know, pel drills and everything else work great when you're standing there and you're squared up against an opponent. Okay, they work great. But when you're running or you're chasing an opponent,
totally different.
And you're not ever practicing that, your strikes are not going to be the same by any means necessary. It's just not where you're swinging at versus you concentrating on your body mechanics. Two totally separate things. It's not going to be the same. You know, it's like fighting blindfolded. You think you're striking here, but you're actually striking somewhere else. Same thing happens when you're running. Okay, so a lot of headshots, and that is something that Amtgard is really starting to see a problem with. I'm seeing that more and more and more and more with a lot of conversations, and the general consensus in Amtgard is, well, we need to ban weapons. No, we need to learn how to fight better with these weapons. Okay, none of y'all are walking out on the field for the first time, you put in a cheat code, and all of a sudden you're dominating the entire game. It doesn't work, okay? So you can't just get good going to your local park on Sunday and fighting people at the park, just doing that. You have to do stuff on your own. Miranda said in the chat room, she goes, it's bad, I've lost so much face paint. Well, I mean, yeah. You know, when you look at somebody's weapon and they're like, I didn't hit them in the face, and you look down at their weapon, like half of the face paint they had is on the blade, you're like, so what'd you do? Go off to the side with a little paint and draw somebody's face on the side of it? I mean,
that's something I would do.
Just putting out there, I wear a lot of face paint in Amtgard.
Yeah, she does.
She covers up her face. It's not that good to look at.
Yeah, that's what she said. I did totally disagree with it. I could look at her face all day long. I wouldn't have a problem with it. You know, I would like to look at it from the bottom end up, but I mean, that's just me. Okay. So that was my good, bad, and ugly of the event. Like I said, I enjoyed this first time I've been to Slaughter Creek. I like their terrain. You know, they definitely have a good terrain area to fight in, various different terrains. They don't have any hills, but you know, they have a lot of wooded stuff and things like that. So I enjoyed myself.
That's good.
You know, and it's an easy park to get to. Unlike that one in San Antonio where if you miss one fucking exit, you gotta go like 4 fucking miles in order to get there. That one can be complicated as shit to get to.
Almost Basin?
Yeah, that one can get complicated. I mean, to get to Slaughter Creek, it's real simple. Go to Slaughter Lane exit in Austin. I mean, their park is named on the road that their park is off of. It's not that difficult to find. It's pretty simple.
So, I heard on the KCG page that 3 people got suspended.
Yes, I saw this on our way back from Slaughter Creek, so I immediately contacted, that other guy that's being investigated like I am, that we still haven't heard any word about.
Apparently not, and I actually messaged Arden to see what was going on, and he refuses to even look at it.
They ain't saying shit.
Nope.
This is being more tight-lipped. This is being more tight-lipped than the people who know whether or not there was collusion between the Russians and the Trump organization.
I think it's because they realized that they done goofed.
I told somebody today, I seriously think they're not going to tell us that they find us innocent. They're just going to leave it there, so that way they leave it open for another board to open it up again later.
Oh, hell.
I really do. I think they're not going to close it on purpose.
Right,
but anyway, so they did suspend 3 people, and I contacted somebody at the park that this happened in, which is the Duchy of Harbor Rye in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Okay.
And supposedly it was involving consumption of illegal narcotics.
What? Wait. Was it smoking the reefer?
It was.
Oh.
It was involving that. And evidently they were doing it at the park, which is against the law in the state of Virginia. Even most states that have it legal where you can smoke it, you can't smoke it in public. No. Colorado has like a couple areas that I think you're allowed to do it publicly, but it's like specifically designated areas.
It's like public drinking.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's pretty much regulated like public consumption of alcohol.
Yeah.
And then from what I heard, now this is purely rumor at this moment, is that one of them was heavily under the influence of this and decided to go out and fight, and it was a kind of a dust up, I guess, of some kind. I know I didn't hear that it was physical, but I mean, I think maybe somebody got accused of taking their like Cheetos or something. I don't know. That's purely just speculation at that point. But anyway, there was an argument that ensued over the whole issue, and Harbor Rye was the original ones that suspended these 3 individuals for a full year, and then the Kingdom of KCG supported them. And I agree with it. I mean, first of all, if you're going to go out to a public park where you're engaged in practice and consume any kind of item that is regulated against the law to consume it publicly at that park, and then attempt to go out and fight while under the influence of it, it's a COC 6.
Definitely, most definitely, because it's creating a dangerous environment.
It is, and with it being marijuana, we're not sure, is it creating a dangerous environment for the people they're fighting, or is it creating a dangerous environment for the person that is fighting because their responses are slowed heavily?
Why not both?
It could be both. It could be both. But it brings up an interesting conversation, because the consumption of marijuana has become more and more of an item in events.
Yeah.
Okay, because we have Amtgard in states where it's perfectly legal.
Yes.
Okay, so it brings up the topic of conversation. What do you feel about the consumption of marijuana at events? What's your opinion on that?
So my opinion of consumption of marijuana at events, I mean, as long as, it's away from, like, let's say kids and so on and so forth, and away from the general populace in itself. Like, I know that some people go into the woods, do their thing, and then they'll go into their camp and chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
I feel that's perfectly acceptable, because people do what people do to go ahead and relax themselves. Especially since I know that there are a lot of vets in the game who actually do have a medical card, and they use it to help, with their PTSD and so on and so forth. Especially since Amtgard can be a very high-stress environment.
It can be.
So, that I'm okay with. But when it comes down to the fact of, just like somebody going to a park and consuming it and then going out to fight, it not only makes them look bad, it also puts them in danger. It puts other people in danger, so on and so forth, because of slow reaction times and not being able to really feel certain things that most people would when they're not under the influence.
Yeah. My feeling about it at events is I don't care, personally. I can't smoke marijuana. Of all the things in this world that I ended up, because I'm not allergic to anything, with the exception of evidently marijuana.
Yeah.
something in it, we're not sure what, but something in it, both times I tried it, I ended up fucked up to where I needed to go to the hospital the second time. Okay, so I can't smoke marijuana, but it doesn't bother me if people do. I've never cared about it. Even when I was a law enforcement officer, I do know that, you know what, the law says it was illegal at the time I was a law enforcement officer, so unfortunately I have to uphold that. But I wasn't as much as a dick as other officers were concerning the issue, because I don't necessarily see anything wrong with it. To me, it's kind of like alcohol consumption. Now, here's the question about Amtgard now concerning alcohol. If it's regulated like alcohol, we still do not have a rule that would prohibit them from being able to enter onto the battlefield, because we have people to get drunk and go out and ditch.
Yeah, which is technically, you know, off limits.
It should be, because once you start consuming alcohol, at some point your decision making is impaired. Of course, I know people that are sober in this game and their decision making is already impaired.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, the thing is, and that's been a big discussion in Amtgard, is the whole consumption of alcohol, you know, and then fighting. You know, it's one of those things. Do we need to put in a rule that says consumption of, you know, alcohol or regulated legal narcotics prohibits you from being on the field the moment you start consuming it?
Honestly, I think that would actually be a very good idea. But the question is, how do we enforce it?
You would end up having to send people to awareness classes in order for them to be able to be aware of the signs and how to know the differences between it. Because it's just like one thing right now, like, you know, you could sit there and say, well, yeah, I know they're under the influence of alcohol. Well, here's the thing. I had a serious head injury when I was 16 years old. Okay? I went out the windshield of a vehicle. My head was seriously damaged in the process.
Yeah.
Okay? There is times under great stress, when I get tired, I will mimic signs of alcohol consumption. You've seen it here in the house.
I have.
Okay? I will get dizzy, I will get lightheaded, my speech will slur, and I will start staggering around. I had no alcohol. It's just a condition of the head injury that I received when I was a child. It's something that will affect me the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to identify the signs of, is this a head injury? Is this some kind of a medical condition? Or is it consumption of alcohol? So if we're going to regulate something like that, then we're going to have to require people to have to go to awareness classes.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be able to, because there's certain questions you need to ask.
Absolutely.
Before you make the automatic assumption this person's been consuming alcohol, they can't be on the field.
Yeah, now the thing is, if we're going to do an awareness class, who's going to pay for it? Who's going to run it? Who's actually going to attend? So on and so forth. How do we regulate
There's a way. There's a way as a nonprofit organization. Now, I realize our nonprofit organization status is a little on the limited side, but there is a way to go do these awareness classes and to get the state to do them for free, as long as we get enough people to go to make it viable.
Yeah, but keep in mind, the Amtgarders are lazy.
Oh, very much so. I mean, I go. I've taught the classes before.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could get a state certification to instruct a class, then I'd be more than willing to teach it.
Yeah.
You know, I would teach it anywhere that they wanted me to go within the state of Texas, because you have to get certified per state.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I would teach the class for free, you know, at that point, and certify people in that awareness. Now, L'Ariel's in our studio. You can't see her on camera, but she had her arm raised. Oh, you're going to go ahead and ask on the chat. Okay, cool. By the way, those of you who are watching at home, we do have a chat right next to it, so if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to go in there. And when it pops up, we will try to address it as much as we can. Do understand that there is a little bit of a delay, so if we've already moved on to another subject and we don't comment on it, it's not that we've ignored it. It's just we don't feel we don't feel that it necessarily pertains, or it's something that we've already answered.
Okay, so Miranda said special reefs test for events as well, just an idea. The thing is, a reefs test encompasses the rules of play itself. So what we would need, if we're going to do a test, it would have to be administered to, well, I'm talking to you because you asked the question.
I can watch you right here.
She's watching us, so just address to the camera.
So if it's going to be a reefs test encompasses the rules of play only.
Actually, you know what? Make it a requirement in order to be security in an event.
Exactly. Now, if we were to do a test, you know, that encompasses, you know, events itself and, you know, justification for things and processes and everything like that for an event itself, then that would be something that I would suggest that the BOD would actually go ahead and make and administer to anybody who is securocrat or anybody who is, going to be participating in security functions at events, because that would be something that would encompass mundane issues.
One of the things that I did take from the Kingdom of Crystal Groves from my time there that I actually liked is they actually have a group called the Crystal Corps. The Crystal Corps' job is to be there for medical assistance, security, things of that nature. It is one of the things that's required to be in that Corps, is to be certified in certain areas wherever you're going to specialize in the Corps. And that Corps' job is to provide security and provide things at their events.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'd like to see something like that for the CK. To have to have a celestial corps kind of like that, where they're certified, they are your security, they are your medical people, stuff like that. They can be there to look out for people and stuff like that and be able to answer those questions. And I think then we can solidify it down to a special group of people. So then when we go to events, we know out of that group we'll have certain people there that's their job. So if you feel as an individual player is not a part of the Corps, that somebody may be out on the field injuring other players because they're under the influence, then you get a hold of one of them. They go out there, pull the person aside, make a determination on whether or not they are.
Yeah.
And then at that point, that person can be pulled from the field.
Yeah. The only thing is, and I will touch upon this before we go ahead and move to the next subject, is that it has been brought up about pulling actual licensed medical individuals and so on and so forth to actually do things for events for the CK. And it was brought up to the BOD, and I know that the BOD has stated that that is something that they don't want on actual paper.
Well, because it's a liability.
Exactly. It's a huge liability.
Yeah.
And that's something that the CK in itself, the BOD, does not want to go ahead and take a
Well,
risk
and the
on.
Crystal Corps is like a household. It's it's an Amtgard household, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they handle these things.
Now, it's something that if it's not put on paper that these people are licensed and so on and so forth, then it'll work out perfectly fine. Because the biggest thing is that, it can fall under, the Good Samaritan law, where they're like, oh, hey, somebody got injured, and this person kind of knows what they're doing. So they're going to go ahead and help provide aid until actual, mundane officials.
Well, you understand that all you really need is a first aid. All you need is first aid at that point, so you can just try to keep them stable long enough to get emergency technicians on scene to where it's their job to do that, and we're no longer liable.
Absolutely.
And we wouldn't be liable if somebody is doing that. The kingdom itself would not be liable if somebody's out there with a first aid certification, making sure we're keeping this person stable and still until we get the medics on site.
Exactly.
Okay, then so and that's pretty much what it is. The kingdom does not sanction them as officially licensed and trained people to handle these issues. It's just a household and an order that is used. And in order to get in that household, you have to have knowledge or current or previous certifications in a particular field that you're going to be working in.
I like it.
And I like the idea too, and I think that's maybe something we could accomplish, because you have too many old hard heads that are going to say that, well, one of the things I like doing at an event is we do a shot tournament, and some people are like, oh, shot tournament like striking. No, like you have a shot, and if in order to stay in, you have to keep taking shots, and the moment you stop taking shots, next death, you're out of the tournament.
Yeah.
So I mean, not exactly like we're advocating for unsafe actions. However, it is a tradition in some kingdoms to do that, at night. And it's not a kingdom-sanctioned part of the event, but it is a tradition that some people do.
Yes.
I've been involved in them. I took a pretty gnarly headshot.
I've been involved in a beer tournament.
Yeah, I've been to offhand beer tournament. I've been in. So, but now let's move on to the next thing. You want to talk about the EH event that's coming up?
So there is the EH and the Wetlands entering Coronation. Both are not together. They're both separate. I'm actually headed out to the Emerald Hills entering Coronation this weekend, and it's gonna be pretty good. I know that who is it that I said was getting knighted?
And what was it? Wait,
Fenton.
Okay.
Fenton's getting knighted at the EH event.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. Also, Marcy's hosting the Valkyrie tournament.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So far, I believe she has about 7 participants.
Okay.
Which is not too bad. They're going for a $100 prize. And it's a women's only tournament, so it's going to be pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's $10.
Now, can I ask, what if they have a guy that identifies as a woman? Because I'm sure at some point some SJW has already thought of this question.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and I believe Marcy already had to deal with something like that because somebody asked that question. And I believe Marcy said that if they are a female, then they can participate.
So the plumbing needs to match.
I guess so.
Okay.
I guess so. I'm not exactly sure how she's going to handle it or check or anything like that, but, you know, she's doing things her way, and I trust her.
Okay. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's cool. You know, maybe it'll cause, you know, the guys to do something similar to that. Mm-hmm. You know, we just have to be careful when you start offering cash prizes.
Yeah,
though,
it
can become a slippery slope.
Yeah,
real
I mean,
quick.
like, if a dude dresses in drag and goes, "Yeah, I'm going to sign up," you know, then that will be an issue.
Yeah.
But, you know, so far she's had an actual, like, online submission form that people filled out and have done previous. You know, previous.
The only reason why I'm saying is because the whole gypsy conversation came up again on Facebook.
Oh God.
You know, I like the fact that before somebody said gypsy was a slur, we you know, everybody was, you know, whatever nationality they are, and nobody really professed about it. Yeah. The moment gypsy became a slur, and by the way, I had a conversation with a couple people that are actually Romani today, and they do not feel that gypsy is a slur. Okay.
So you have actual Romani.
People that verify these people are Romanian.
That gypsy is not a slur.
Okay.
But it's just the SJWs that are throwing their
But
fucking
did you
hands
notice
out?
the moment that the SJW started saying that gypsy is a slur, suddenly like 36% of Amtgarders are Romani? 36% of Amtgarders, the way they talk on the page, are Romani, and it's now all a slur.
Well, here's the thing: are they actually Romani, or are they identifying as Romani?
Or did they turn around and take the what is it, the Ancestry.com DNA test and found out that
I'm like 2%.
They're like running around thinking, oh, I'm 100% Scandinavian, but then they found out they're like 2% of every fucking thing in the world. Because evidently a whole bunch of people couldn't keep it in their pants to keep it in one nationality, so, you know, they're a little bit of everything.
Well, that's how I found out I'm Cherokee, Portuguese, Irish, French, Mexican, German, Sri Lankan, and Scandinavian.
I know that I am European.
I'm Miranda.
Okay, I am mostly Scottish. I have Dutch, and I have UK. I have the English in me. So
well, last week I was a train.
You were a train.
I was a train.
He was a train. That was hilarious.
As an NPC.
Yes, as an NPC, he was a train. I will have to say though, the next time we do that game, if Armand does that game, I am going to be playing that Quad City DJs song, because I think it was cute and it'd make you dance while you're doing it. That'd be awesome. So that's all we really have in the Amtgard world.
Yes.
Once again, Amtgard staying for the most part quiet, no scandals. So let's see what happens with the events this weekend. Because we got through our event without nobody without anybody getting arrested or having to go to the. Well, we had one person that went to the hospital, but it was on their own accord. It wasn't because somebody had to call an ambulance for him and make him go. This was the same person who almost got run over by the ambulance at the event prior. They got called. Okay.
She's just accident prone, isn't she?
Yeah, well, she took the the pommel of her own polearm that somebody kicked into her eyeball. So, you know, I mean, unfortunately, that's gonna fuck you up no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that's all we have. So
Thanks, guys.
We're still waiting. Yeah, we had to give you a shout out there. You were the only person that went to the hospital the entire event.
I went to an emergency clinic.
It's still a hospital.
Yeah, technically. It's still a medical facility.
It's a medical facility, so there you go.
Well, so is an abortion clinic.
Alright, so let's move on to the real world shit in the world, because we have a few... By the way, I love how, like, the whole world... I will say this because it's not on our list, but I just do want to say there was supposedly an active gunman at a New York mall today. And I went and read the comment thread because, you know, I don't really need to go into detail about an active gunman. All I can say is 2 people were injured, so evidently it was a bad shot. So, I know, that's a little cruel and I'm probably going to go to hell. But
that reminds me of the shooting that happened in San Antonio where only 2 people got hit.
Okay, but so, yeah, the guy who was driving up and down the fucking highway shooting at people only injured 2 people. It's like, how bad of a fucking shot are you? So anyway, I went and read the comment section. Because the news story is pretty much the same as all active shooters. You can pretty much predict everything that's going to get said now. And in the comments section, it said, "Why didn't he shoot more Trump? Why didn't he shoot more Trump supporters?" That's pretty much all the comment section was. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Is this where we're at as a society now?
Wow.
We're not shocked by somebody opening fire in a mall. We're just going to say, why didn't he shoot more of these people? Well, fuck you. I voted for Trump. Why? Because the alternative option was even worse. Okay? Sorry about your luck.
Sorry.
Alright, so I just... it's just something I wanted to say as a side note. It's like, really? Is this where we're fucking at in this world?
I voted for Johnson.
You can't... Big Johnson was not going to get elected. So, there you go.
But still.
I mean, hell, I wrote in Mickey Mouse one year because there was no good options.
It's better than the 15,000 people who got out of their beds, put on pants, and wrote in Harambe.
That did happen.
I think Harambe might have been a decent option, even though he's already dead.
All right, shot for Harambe.
All right, so what do we got? What do we got in the mundane world discussion we got out here?
So apparently in Florida over the weekend, there was a road rage shooting off the Florida Turnpike. Now, apparently this is something that generally happens in Florida. But the only reason why that made news...
Well, did it say where in Florida? Lake County? It was
Lake County.
Lake County, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with where Lake County is in Florida.
So apparently, this one guy named Kwanzaa...
A African Christmas holiday.
His real name is Kwanzaa. Apparently fired 12 shots into a vehicle while they were driving off the Florida Turnpike.
Way to spread the ho-ho fucking cheer, Kwanzaa.
And
Good
I guess...
job.
And apparently the passengers were a 37-year-old male and a 17-year-old female.
Why was a 17-year-old female riding in a car with a 37-year-old? Are we talking like...
Could have been her uncle.
That's what I'm
Could have been her uncle or father or...
Could have been a guy with free candy written, hand-painted down the side of a van.
Maybe. But Kwanzaa, who's 33, ended up pulling up, driving on the turnpike, pulled out a handgun, fired 12 shots into the vehicle, and then sped off. And apparently both the male and the female passengers in the victim's vehicle, received minor injuries, from glass, metal, and bullet fragments.
This guy did this at close range from one vehicle to another, and all he did was get a minor injury.
Yeah.
God damn, you're a bad shot.
Even a worse shot than the New York shooter.
Evidently, because that guy had a crowd of people and still only injured 2.
Yeah. Now.
Because this is the busiest shopping weekend of the year. And he only injured 2 fucking people, and it's like, take the gun away, because that guy's going to hurt himself more than he is anybody else in this world.
Now, we'll be talking about mass shooting here in a little bit. That was actually a lot worse. But
well, that's because that's what these motherfuckers do as a living.
Alright, so that's about it from the shooting on Florida.
Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear that during your holiday weekend, somebody decided to shoot you on the side of the highway, but... having a job where I deal with people driving on the highway, I can understand why people get road rage, because if you had to deal with some of the people I deal with, fuck.
Especially in Austin.
Yeah, Austin's just the worst. It's a bunch of ex-Californians that couldn't make it on the 101 freeway on their daily commute, so they came here to fuck it up.
Whoa. I'm an ex-Californian, and I first drove on the 101 freeway.
You still can't drive worth a shit. So.
Bullshit! I'm a good driver. I haven't had any accidents. Well, except for one. But that was in Arizona, and that's because a semi merged on me.
Yeah, you might want to knock on wood there, Chief. Because if you say that, you're going to be on your way to Oklahoma, and you're going to wipe somebody out. You're going to hit a van full of nuns.
Alright, so moving on.
Yeah, and what is that, Tenerife? Tenerife. Spain. Nightclub floor collapses and 40 are injured.
And this is in the Butterfly Disco Club.
You know you guys are supposed to raise the roof, not tear down the floor. Tearing the club down does not mean you need to make the floor go away. So, did you read up on the story?
Yeah, so apparently, on Saturday at the Butterfly Disco Club.
Okay, first of all, let's contemplate the name of this club. It's the Butterfly Disco.
Yeah.
Let's just stop and let that absorb for a second. Who the fuck calls a nightclub the Butterfly Disco?
It sounds a lot cooler in Spanish.
I'm sure it does.
No, it's called the Butterfly Disco Club. Even in Spanish. It's
Butterflyo.
Mariposa.
I don't know how to fucking speak Spanish except pulling you out of your car at gunpoint.
Quesadilla, taquito, guacamole. That's Spanish.
Sriracha. I know that one.
That's not Spanish.
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like Chinese or something.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. No, so apparently over the weekend, there was a bunch of people in the club, and apparently it was in the Playa Los Americanos shopping center.
Lake of America.
It's a nightclub in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
This is Europe.
It's Spain.
Europe.
Same shit.
It's a nightclub in a shopping mall.
Yeah. So apparently,
hey, look, you can get your fucking shoes, a handbag, and Starbucks, and then go to the nightclub and get fucked up.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so apparently, among the injured, there was Russians, Spaniards...
So there was collusion.
Russians, Spaniards, Americans, and a few French.
There was Americans in a nightclub with Russians.
Yes.
We're going to find out later those Americans voted for Trump and they were talking with the Russians. That's how CNN's going to spin this.
Yeah,
Not to mention the mall is called the Lakes of the Americas.
So
beaches.
Let me ask you this: Is this another situation with a European nightclub where they had way too many motherfuckers in the club? Or was this just simply the building isn't worth a shit?
It's probably either A, the building isn't worth a shit, or B, because there was more Americans than anticipated, and since they all think that Americans are fat and obese, it probably broke the floor.
I don't know, it's very possible.
Maybe.
We do like our Burger King.
We
and
do.
McRib is back.
And McRib is
We are back at McRib. I know, I've already eaten like 8 of them.
I'm not a big fan of McRibs.
I like them. I always have. It's simple. It's like getting those barbecue rib things at the gas station.
Yeah.
Only they're a little bit more warmer and the buns aren't hard as shit.
A lot saucier.
Yes, very saucier. So, yeah, so here you go. First of all, being a guy who's been a bouncer at many, many nightclubs, if you have to go to a strip mall or a shopping mall to go to your nightclub, probably a bad idea. Probably a bad idea. And to me, that would not be extremely reputable to go to a shopping mall to go to a nightclub.
Clarification, it's not in a shopping mall, it's in a shopping center, so like a strip mall.
So strip mall.
Yes.
Hey, even better.
Which we have right here in Killeen.
Yeah, and how many of them are very reputable?
I mean, you got La Boom and Fuego.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And
The list just gets even better and better as we go along.
Alright, so moving on.
Okay, yes, our professional killers in the world.
Yeah, so apparently the Islamic State attacked a Sinai mosque in Egypt and killed over 300 people by setting off bombs in the mosque, and then as the people were running out, decided to open fire on the group.
Okay, for those of you planning an active shooter incident,
That's one hell of a way to do it.
I mean, I'm not advocating this on any means whatsoever, and anybody who decides to do something like this, I hope you get killed in the very beginning of you trying to pull off your operation.
Yeah.
Okay, however, ISIS is a organization that their whole job in life is to terrorize people, and the attempt to bring forth the end of days, in a sense, that they're supposed to wash the world in the blood by forcing people to join or die. And that's their motto. You join or die. Well, or you join and die by blowing yourself up. You know, and this is what they do. And being over there where they are in a lot of places, you run the risk of being in an area that gets attacked.
Now,
needless to say, why I'm not immediately trying to sign up for those discounted Middle Eastern travel vacations that they sell.
Now, I think the worst part about this is that Islamic State, you know, they're Islamic extremists. They're Muslims, and they attacked their own people.
Well, it's because their own people don't believe in their ideology.
Now,
so according to them, they're infidels just as much as we are.
Now, it was even said that the supporters of the Islamic State that lived in that area, that they even felt that after that attack, that Islamic State was completely grotesque.
Okay, so does that mean they're going to finally start calling these people out publicly? Because that seems to be a really big fucking problem. People of their own religion, even if they're the people being targeted by these individuals, will still not go out and say, they're over there.
But now it's getting to the point where even their own supporters are like, you know, we're done. We're done.
I would hope and pray to whatever God you believe in, regardless of whatever it is, and I don't judge on that one, whatever brings you hope, great. That this is going to become, this is a reality, and this is not them just blowing smoke up our ass because they won't turn in their own people.
Correct.
I mean, in America, for the most part, if you're a whack job, and you're attempting to use your religion to attack other religions, we'll fucking rat you out in a fucking heartbeat. I've never seen a religion like that. And don't get me wrong, I know people in the Muslim religion. They're peaceful people, wonderful people to be around.
Absolutely, they're great people.
But when you ask them, so when you're aware that somebody's going to do this shit, why don't you as a whole come together and rat these people out? And they won't fucking answer the question.
It's because they're afraid.
If you as a whole, not just one or two people in a mosque, you as a whole band together to say, here they are, this is what they're doing, here's the person that's recruiting them, they're not going to attack you. Because they want to catch you off guard. They want to make you scared.
Yeah.
ISIS does not attack people by marching up and going head to head. They do it secretly, and they do it to get you scared.
It's guerrilla tactics.
Yeah, they're cowards.
They are.
They're cowards. And, you know, unfortunately, this attack was very effective.
It was. Because
they've gotten good at this shit. Why? Because for years and years and years, nobody took them seriously, and now look at what we're dealing with. You know? And it's unfortunate, but I really hope that what they're saying is that they've had enough of this shit is true.
I blame Obama.
I don't just blame Obama, because I've known politics for a long time. This is a lot of multiple country administrations not acting, and now they have no choice because it's on their doorstep.
Absolutely.
The United States wasn't really serious about taking out Islamic terrorism until 9/11.
Yeah.
It took a major event for us to really get involved. Same thing with the UK. The same thing with a lot of countries. Yeah. It took a massive mass casualty event before they got serious about it. Mm-hmm. When we could have nipped this shit in the butt a long, long time ago.
Absolutely.
So we're paying for not doing anything. So, all right. So let's move on from that now.
So,
this one here is very sick and disturbing. I mean, if it's not bad enough 300 people killed in a mosque was not sick and disturbing. This is here in the United States. I'll go ahead and lead with this one. 3 Pennsylvania high school football players charged as adults in a case of a rape of a 14-year-old at gunpoint. Okay, I'm glad they're charged as an adults. This is an adult crime. They acted in an adult nature, and I wish this country would stop being pussies about the death penalty and execute all 3 of them. Personally. Because here's the bad part. Yeah, they didn't kill the girl, but that girl will never be the same for the rest of her life. And it's basically a death sentence for the girl mentally.
And I actually, read up on the report and read up on the news story and everything like that.
Understand that Raj had to do a lot of the research on this because I was on the road coming back.
Yeah. So what makes this even worse is that the 14-year-old victim actually knew all 3 of the assailants.
And most of the time when you, I will say this because this is one thing that I did study up on while I was law enforcement. A large majority of your rape victims or sexual assault victims know the attacker. It is an extremely high percentage. I think it's in the upper 80 percentile.
Just about.
That it's not a random act.
No.
It's usually not a random act. You could pretty much go through the list of the people that you know after this event has happened to you, and one of them will be the assaulter. At 80, I think it's like 87 or 89%. So you have an 89% chance of naming the person who did this to you, just by naming off the people that you know personally.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is, she was able to tell exactly who 2 of them were by first and last name, and the third one just by first name only. So
it's in a high school, so it's not going to be like a huge list of people to have to go through.
Yeah.
Even if it's a high school of 7,000 people, only 2 people are going to have that specific name, unless the guy's name's John Smith, and you may have to narrow down like 12. But
yeah.
So, and then they're going to give up the other guy.
Yeah.
That high school kids, they may act all tough, but the moment you
Well,
threaten them with like a death penalty or something like that, they'll just give up everybody.
Yeah, well, the way that they were able to find out who the third person was, because he had a unique name to that school, and his name was Deshaun.
Okay, if this was in San Antonio or in Austin, that would not be that unique of a name.
Yeah, but this is in Pennsylvania.
This is in York, Pennsylvania, so it's going to be a little rare.
Yeah. So apparently, what had happened was the way that it transpired was that the girl, had told her parents that she was going to the York Fair which apparently was in town.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 rapes. The person is likely to know their assaulter.
So 70%.
70%. It's still a very fucking high number.
Yeah, absolutely. So she told her parents that she was going to go meet some friends over the York Fair, which she was going to. Then she ended up seeing the 3 of them over there, and they told her, hey, you know, we want to show you something. So her, you know, knowing who they were, she goes, okay. So they let her, you know, away from the fair to a parking lot across from the football stadium, put a gun to her head, and told her to perform oral sex on all 3 of them.
You know what I think they should do? Not the death penalty. Give somebody a simulation gun, but don't tell them it's a simulation. Mm-hmm. You know, and let them force those 3 to perform fellatio on somebody.
Yeah. So
make them go through what they did to somebody.
Yeah. So after they went ahead and after she went ahead and performed fellatio on all 3 of them, they led her to another area, another piece of property, which they had her brace against what she called a well, and they performed sexual intercourse
acts against her. I'm pretty sure sodomy was, of course, one of them.
Probably. And
sodomy is a very common occurrence in rape.
And they did it at gunpoint. And after they were done, they pulled into, well, they all got into a maroon SUV or van.
Obviously owned by the parents of or one of
she
the
doesn't
individuals.
know. She said that she doesn't know who owned the vehicle or who was driving.
Well, that's not important.
Yeah, but they went back to the fair and then went their way.
It's obviously was premeditated.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that from an investigational standpoint. This was a plan. Go ahead.
Just the statistics of them doing this is, other than the knowing the person that did it, which is the biggest statistic.
The 70%er.
Only 15% of people 17 or younger are going to be a perpetrator. And 57% of them would be white, 27% would be black. And only 6% of rapes and sexual assaults are done with a weapon. Or with a gun, rather.
Yeah, most of the time it's either done with a knife or it's just done by sheer physical force.
Gun has a higher percentage than knife.
Yeah.
Well, sheer physical force should be a high one.
It is.
Going in and taking physical dominance over another person.
Yeah.
10% are perpetrated by 2 or more.
Yeah, so I mean they covered a lot of categories in this thing. But
so apparently this event happened September 24th.
Okay.
They were finally convicted. Right now they are on.
They're convicted, but they haven't been sentenced yet.
Yeah, they're convicted right now. They are on bond.
How the fuck do you get on bond for this?
Under extreme supervision by their parents.
I don't give a flying shit. How do you let somebody get out?
I don't know, but apparently they will be sentenced in January.
How do you even let them bond out?
I don't know.
How do they get to be free after doing this to a 14-year-old girl?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Somebody's parents has money or has pull. Which is fucking sad because we have that in this country.
From what it says, that they were all put on $26,000 bond.
$26,000 bond.
They didn't kill her.
It doesn't matter. This was a felony committed with a firearm. Multiple felonies.
So they're being convicted of terrorist threats,
sexual assault to a person under a certain age.
Yeah, sexual assault, deviant misconduct. What was it? It was like 5 different things that they were being convicted
Well, the
of.
devious misconduct, I'm pretty sure they're going to offer to throw out as long as they plead guilty to the bigger charges.
Probably.
Because remember, they're gonna have their big ones, and then they're going to have a bunch of little ones. Because taking her at gunpoint to another location is kidnapping.
Yeah.
So they're going to get them. They're going to probably throw a deal at them. Say, look, we'll throw out these if you plead guilty to these.
Probably.
You know, but the problem is they bonded out at $26,000.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't $2,600,000 or 20.
It was 26,000.
Somebody's parents know somebody.
And the school even, was even asked and interviewed about, what their stance
School
on it was.
doesn't want to be touched by this.
And what the school said was, even though it involves students, from our school,
it didn't happen on our property.
but because it did not happen on school property or anything like that, then there's nothing that we can do.
Yeah, exactly. They took the response of, it didn't happen on our grounds, even though it happened with people going here, so it's not our problem.
Not my monkey, not my circus.
Pretty much. That's exactly what it was.
All right, so moving on.
Yes, remember last week we made the big to-do about the Argentinian
Submarine.
Do you know how much hell I've caught over the last week about people making fun of me pronouncing all that shit? Okay, folks, sometimes pronouncing foreign countries shit is not my forte. Yeah. It's like if you try to get me to pronounce names in Boston, I'm gonna fuck up a lot of those cities.
He's old.
It's not
Waxahachie.
I'm not gonna pronounce the shit right. So, and if anybody that's watching is Argentinian, okay, Argentinian, I do apologize for mispronouncing your shit. I'm pretty sure you mispronounce a lot of our shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah. Or using your and your.
Show me, Bob.
Okay. So anyway, our missing Argentinian sub. Okay. Unfortunately, this is kind of taking a sad turn.
Yes.
We were hoping it was simply a matter of they got a hold of equipment, they had no idea how they were operating, and they just ended up going to the wrong location.
Well, it turns out that it wasn't a brand new sub.
No, because I was really wondering why the Argentinians really needed a high-powered nuclear submarine.
Apparently, it was a 34-year-old diesel sub that had recently underwent a refit.
More than likely, it sounds like they went to the old Russian Navy swap meet.
Probably.
Because you can buy a diesel submarine from the Russians right now.
And the Secretary of the Navy for Argentina stated that it was in perfect condition before it was released. And my guess is that they were doing a test run after the refit just to make sure that everything was working.
Yes.
That's what it seems like.
Unfortunately, the United States Navy is involved in the search. And according to what you saw today, the Navy received the U.S. reported a hydroacoustic anomaly, which unfortunately in the world of sub vehicles, any vehicle that goes below the surface of the ocean, a hydroacoustic anomaly is not a good thing. That means there has been an incident on a sub or any kind of a vehicle that does submerge, which not all naval vessels are classified as a sub that can submerge. Some can go just below the water.
Yes.
When a hydroacoustic anomaly means that a large object has released pressure, and that pressure echoing through the water system.
Yeah. And from what the U.S. had described it,
I'm trying to give people the basic understanding of it and trying to go instead of going into scientific technical terms.
Essentially, what the U.S. said was it sounded like an explosion that happened underwater.
And to kind of clarify that for people as well, an explosion underwater does not necessarily mean a big bomb has gone off and water's flying everywhere. Implosions and explosions underwater, when you're dealing with something that size, kind of make the same sound.
Yes.
Either or, the way it travels through the sound travels through the water, it is the same type of sound wave, why it's called a hydroacoustic anomaly. So either they went below crush depth.
Yep.
And the weakest point of a diesel submarine, from other people that I've talked to, and I could be completely wrong, I'm not an expert on diesel submarines. The weakest point is where the engine is. That's where the thinnest part of the hull is.
Yeah. Because
the way the diesel is set up in the back. Usually that or the water flow system is the first thing that breaks on them because of the immense pressure that they're under.
Yes.
If they went below crush depth, you're talking about a vehicle the size of like 5 semi-trucks being reduced down to the size of 1. Okay, that will create an immense sound underwater.
It sounds like boop, but underwater.
Yeah, or if they were thinking there was a problem there may have been a problem with the engine.
Yeah.
And there was an explosion on the engine. Then the explosion will go outward until the pressure of the water pushes it back in. The only hope for these guys at this point, if this is what has occurred, is that they were able to seal off the compartments
before it happened.
Before it flooded the entire ship and it went down all the way. And that it's like the situation with the Kursk in Russia, where the Kursk was a nuclear submarine that unfortunately it failed, went to the bottom. There was a fire that had broken out.
Well, a torpedo exploded.
A torpedo exploded because they were using a very volatile hydrogen peroxide system that does not work well when mixed with certain things. they sat on the bottom and reportedly were alive for a couple more days, and nobody was, and the Russians interfered and kept us from being able to get them out. We're already working on our rescue subs being there, and hopefully we can find them intact, or they're still alive. What ones are still alive that have survived?
Yeah.
And we're able to get them out. Now, unfortunately, like you said, where they think it's located is dangerously close to the shelf.
Yeah.
If they were 4 feet on one side of the shelf, they're fine. They can survive it. If they're 4 feet on the other side, unfortunately, it went to crush depth.
Yeah.
And they have perished. So let's just hope for the best that these guys are still alive down there. Luckily enough, this time of year it's still warm water.
Yes.
So they don't necessarily have to run the risk of the ship getting ice cold and they perishing from hypothermia.
Yeah.
So let's just hope that we're able to pull somebody out alive at this point.
So, moving on.
The United States Navy and the country of Japan are in the news again.
This time, a Navy cargo plane crashed off the coast of Japan. Out of the 11 crew members on board this C-2A Greyhound, 8 were rescued and pulled out, and they are in good condition after they got transported over to the Ronald Reagan, which is an aircraft carrier with 7th Fleet, which is currently in Guam.
Now understand that all these stories we've been talking about is the 7th Fleet.
Yes.
Just so you're aware.
Everything that has to do with the U.S. Navy and Japan and all these incidents are all part of 7th Group.
Well, that's where 7th Group is.
Yeah, 7th Fleet
goes. Okay,
yeah.
That's where 7th Fleet goes. So this is their area.
Yeah.
And they remember also they've already fired. Well, they reassigned their command.
Yeah.
So they're under another command now, and they're still doing this shit.
Yeah. So what happened was, you know, the C-2A Greyhound, which is a transport plane. Usually, it's the transport plane that brings sailors and like other equipment and rations and so on and supplies from mainland to aircraft carriers.
Yes.
So this one left from Air Station Iwakuni in southern Japan and was headed towards the USS Ronald Reagan in Guam.
Yes.
Which I've actually been on the Reagan. Really awesome.
I have a friend of mine that was stationed on Ronald Reagan,
Yeah.
and he unfortunately, when he got assigned there, they were now going through their nuclear engine refit.
Oh man!
And he said it was like the worst time ever being stuck in Seattle or near Seattle, Washington, where they did it.
Yeah,
forever.
I was on it in 2008. I had a 24-hour sea cruise when I was with the Navy JROTC.
Okay.
Their fighter squadron had left because they're doing training in Nevada, so they let the civilians on for sea cruise.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you pronounce the state of Nevada, by the way.
Thank you. And
Nevada.
so we went from Santa Clara to San Diego. It was pretty awesome. So moving on.
But yeah, so we've had another United States Navy incident with around the country of Japan.
Yeah. So 8 out of the 11 were actually pulled out. The other 3
they confirmed missing. And they cannot find them.
And they called up the search.
Oh, speaking of which, back to the one thing that we didn't cover on the whole Argentinian sub. Okay, if they have unfortunately met their untimely death by going to crush depth, at some point we will be able to find them because there will be an oil slick that will eventually work its way to the surface in a debris field.
Yes.
Then we'll know as soon as you see the debris field, that tells you right then and there what has happened, and it's over.
But so far, as far as they're saying, because they have been doing sonar, they have been using satellite imaging, so on and so forth, they have not found an oil streak, and they have not found a debris field yet.
Okay.
So,
but back to our Japan thing, okay, the United States Navy needs to figure out what the hell to do because the equipment is obviously in ill repair and their command structure was not working well and the new command structure needs to go in there and grab it by the balls.
Japan's getting pissed off.
Can you blame them? They face more danger of damage from us than the North Koreans.
And they still have to worry about Godzilla.
Speaking of North Korea... apparently this past week, they've been doing joint tactical training exercises in South Korea.
Yes.
Which also, our esteemed Secretary of Defense, General Mad Dog Mattis, has been visiting South Korea for the past week.
It's all part of a joint readiness exercise program. Of course, you know, he went down there officially to meet with the is it a prime minister in charge of Japan? Or
president.
Do they have a president? They have a president. Okay. Anyway, you know, of course, we have to go over there. We have to make sure that their military, our military, our defense, their defense and our leadership and their leadership are seeing eye to eye on exactly how to handle North Korea.
Absolutely.
Okay. But also with the Secretary of Defense being there, of course, they're going to do a joint readiness exercise.
Yeah. So apparently this joint tactical training exercise, this joint readiness, is the biggest that has been pulled off since, you know, we've been collaborating with South Korea with security.
Since the war.
Since the
pretty
war.
much.
Yeah, since the war had went into an armistice and a ceasefire.
Yes.
Now, apparently there are 3 carrier groups in the South Korean waters right now. Ronnie Reagan and the 7th Fleet is one of them. And there's 2 others.
Give them time. The 7th group will start crashing into South Korea.
So, so apparently all this has been going on, and North Korea is getting pissed off, and they're calling it warmongering.
Well, of course, Rocket Man. And you know what? I'm going to adopt what Donald Trump has called him, because it is. You know, Rocket Man over there has decided that, you know, anything we do, even if somebody blinks their eyes the wrong way when they're staring at a North Korean, is an act of war of some kind. Now, the Chinese, unfortunately, are still not doing shit. The Chinese could bring a stop to this right now.
But they won't.
They won't, because they do a lot of heavy natural resource trading with North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, they do this. They're going to lose a huge amount of natural resource trading from them, and it's fucking them up. It will fuck them up, so they can't do it. However, the United States did do something this past week, though, that we haven't done in a long time. We declared the North Korean government as a state sponsor of terror.
Yes.
Which,
yes,
by officially doing that now, we have the right to impose some pretty damn heavy sanctions.
Which we have on 7 occasions.
Yes. However, the last administration dropped the ball on that and let it go.
Yeah.
That we've now relisted them as a joint sponsor of terrorism, which now gives us a whole lot of authority to do a lot of things.
And once the mad dog gets a hold, ain't coming back from that.
Yeah, but the problem is we still have to deal with China, because unfortunately, if we do anything into North Korea and the Chinese don't like it and decide they're going to move their military into North Korea,
actually,
we're fucked.
In the report that I read on Mattis visiting, apparently China is starting to back down.
But it doesn't mean that they're actually forcing North Korea to do anything, to stop.
China is fed up with North Korea now.
But they're still not stopping this.
Yeah.
All China has to do is straight walk into Kim Jong-il's fucking palace and look at him and go, stop. Because we will shut down your ability to do anything, and they would have to stop. Yeah. That's all China has to do.
Yeah, but they won't.
They won't do it.
Because they're getting money from it.
Of course. They're making money off of it. Now, you had your hand raised, what?
You've been stationed in Korea, right?
Yes, I have.
It's been the tune for a very, very long time that anytime there's a major movement of troops in or around South Korea, the United States is warmongering.
Of course.
Of course.
But, I mean, we're now talking about a crazy... well, he's not a juvenile. I mean, he is an adult.
He acts like a juvenile.
But he acts like a juvenile.
Worse than Trump.
And, you know...
Worse than Trump on Twitter.
You know, and the bad part about it is why haven't we sent Dennis Rodman over there to get him to calm down? Because they're best friends.
No, Dennis Rodman's best friends with Kim Jong-il.
Exactly.
Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-il is dead.
Okay, well, still, he's best friends with Kim Jong-un.
No,
he is friends with the son, not with the dad. Because remember, when the son wanted to come over here to watch basketball games before he took office, Rodman was the one that got him all the great seats and everything else.
Yeah.
And Rodman's been over there many times until the last year.
Yeah.
So why not send Rodman over, give him diplomatic ability, and go over there and see if he could talk his buddy down? Maybe give him season tickets to the Knicks, which they suck, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah. So apparently,
if he gets him to stop his nuclear testing program, I don't give a fuck if the guy gets a police escort to the Knicks, to Madison Square Garden. I don't give a fuck.
Speaking of the nuclear testing,
yes.
So apparently, Mattis, while doing a report standing next to the president of South Korea, completely stated that Washington cannot accept a nuclear North Korea and that the U.S.-South Korean security collaboration taken on new urgency after North Korea engaged in outlawed behavior through their 6th nuclear test that apparently had...
I was going to say, how big was this test?
So this test apparently was bigger than the last one. The last one was only about 2 times the size of Hiroshima, of the bomb that knocked out Hiroshima. Apparently this one had a 50 to 120 kiloton yield, which is approximately 3 times more than the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima.
Yes.
Which is pretty fucking huge.
Well, I mean, it's huge in the scale of how much it does, but the size of the thing is still not that big.
Yeah.
Because technology is advanced, where it's not the size of the of big boy or little boy, or fat man and little man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean,
fat boy and little man.
Yeah. The thing is it's just it's crazy to think we're still letting them do this, and and I told you earlier, my concern will be when they actually create a delivery system that is effective.
Yeah, and right now they're getting to that point because they've also been doing ICBM testing. For those of you who don't know what ICBM is, it means Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. So apparently they already had one that launched over the peninsula of Japan.
That happened back in 2012 when I was stationed in South Korea.
What, the ballistic? They also did it a couple months ago.
A couple months ago as
well.
The
first time it happened was I was stationed in South Korea.
Yeah, but that one landed before. It landed towards Japan, but on this side. The new one landed on the other side.
Pacific Ocean side.
A lot closer to Guam.
Yeah, and because he's been threatening to make Guam glow in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Or the coast of California.
Yeah. They can do that.
You know, that's why there's a lot there's a lot of places. There's a lot of people that are wondering when we're going to reopen our missile defense facilities near Golden Gate Park, because there is one. It's no longer active.
Yeah. But
we do have a missile defense system that was there in Golden Gate Park. John F. Kennedy's the one who authorized its construction.
Patriot boys like that.
And it was only, and the thing is the only thing it needs to have done is the technology to operate it needs to be upgraded, and the missiles that we use to try and shoot down ICBMs need to be upgraded, and that's it. The whole launch system is still there.
The only thing that comes to mind with all of this is that movie with John Belushi called 1942.
Mm-hmm.
John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and the entire gang, where it has the Japanese off the coast, and they see this whole like amusement park that's going on. They're yelling Hollywood. Remember that part?
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit of comedy, kind of lighten up the mood.
But the thing is, like I said, I'll be concerned when they get an accurate delivery system, because once they do, all bets are off, and the man has now a huge role at the bargaining table once he has an accurate, confirmed delivery system. Right now he doesn't, so he gets to say all the shit he wants, and people kind of look at him like, whatever. But the moment he can accurately put a missile anywhere he wants it within range of what the missile can actually go, then at that point he gets to the table and go, okay, now I can make Los Angeles glow in the dark, now what?
And what makes this even worse is that we have sailors on the USS Shiloh, which is an actual missile defense ship.
Yep.
And they're part of 7th Fleet, and they're saying that they are so undertrained and overworked, and that, everything coming from the top down is just completely muddled and everywhere and all over the place. That, like, God forbid that North Korea launches a missile, because it will show how ineffective that 7th Fleet is. Because they wouldn't be able to do their job.
Well, maybe we could move some of the Atlantic Fleet out of the Mediterranean and send them over.
Maybe.
But we got how many groups? How many carrier groups do we got there now? 3? 3
right now.
Okay, we can only move so many over before we can go from one ship to another, and to go to South Korea to what's the next country over in that sea? What's on the other side of that sea? What is it? Vietnam?
Yeah.
So
Vietnam, Philippines.
How long will it be before you can go from South Korea and jump from ship to ship to ship and get on the other side? I mean, because carrier fleets are not small.
They are not. They're usually about 40 ships.
Well, we also have missile defense submarines too, so I wonder how many of them are sitting up there off the coast of North Korea.
There's usually 1 or 2 per fleet.
We don't know this, and if we did know this, we definitely wouldn't tell you. Because if there is a missile defense nuclear submarine sitting off the coast of North Korea somewhere, we ain't gonna say shit. You know, we wouldn't tell you, but it does make you wonder: do we have some hunters sitting off the coast? You know, waiting. More than likely, I would guess we would, because it would make sense. But yeah. So, folks, just like I said, I will be concerned when North Korea has an accurate delivery system. Then, like I said, then they can sit at the world table and go, okay, now what? Now we can make shit glow in the dark. What do you want to do? You can pass sanctions. All I have to do is pick up the phone and make one phone call, and something glows in the dark.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, then we have no choice but to listen to their demands, or we have to go in and do a tactical strike and take them out.
Which we're already ready to do so.
Well, but the problem is if China doesn't support this, and we do it, China's going to march into North Korea and back the North Koreans up, and we don't have enough resources in South Korea to back that fight. We're gone. We can forget about it.
Yeah.
The only option we would have at that point is pack this shit up and run.
Yeah.
Because we cannot move our resources into South Korea fast enough to match how China can move their resources into North Korea. And then you have a war.
I mean,
of
granted,
the United States versus China.
I mean, granted, we do have some very, very, very heavy artillery down there.
But the problem is then you have the one scenario you don't want to have.
Yes.
The United States versus China.
Which we can't handle.
No one's going to survive. Because at some point the nuclear bombs will get used by both countries.
Yes.
Because they're both so powerful that that's going to be the only end game, if there's to be an end game in that war, is to use some nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, nobody wins. Nobody wins. We're all pretty much fucked.
All right, so that's about all we have to talk about.
God, I hate the fact that it ended on a gloomy note.
I know.
But
hey, you know.
I got something hilarious.
Oh, fuck.
Uh-oh.
Black Wolf did the Which Murderous Villain Are You? And he almost matched perfectly with Saddam Hussein.
TJ did that? Oh my god. That's alright. Ended up I got a female terrorist.
Okay, so keep in mind that here at R&R, the Raj and Rich Show, we do have this really, really, really awesome figure, as you can see. Of Jareth.
Figure.
Alright. Figure.
It's an action figure.
Yeah, of Jareth, the Goblin King. Now, if we go ahead and hit 25 subscribers,
Which we're getting close on our Facebook page.
well, that's on the Facebook page.
Where are we
need
on YouTube?
On YouTube, I don't know yet. No.
It won't tell us until we shut down.
Yeah. So, when we go ahead and hit 25 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we'll go ahead and do a random drawing here on camera.
Yes.
And then we'll go ahead and get the information for whoever wins it, and we'll go ahead and send it to you if we can't hand it to you.
Y'all are at 19 subscribers.
We're at 19!
So we're getting close.
We're getting really close, so we need 6 more.
We need 6 more, so get 6 of your friends to be able to sit there and listen to us badger on.
There you go. So we'll go ahead and do a drawing, and as soon as you win, we'll go ahead and let you know.
That's right, and no matter where you are in the country, if we can't hand it to you, we will be sending it to you. You do not have to pay for shipping, and no, it will not be the one that's sitting on the desk.
It'll be pristine, mint in box.
Yes, the box that it comes in has never been opened.
Yes.
So there you go. So 25. So we need a couple more. We need a couple more people. Okay, so there you go. All right, so we need a couple more people, and we could do this.
6.
However, I will say this much right now: those of you who are members of the operation of the show, which I think only rolls out to other people besides me and you.
I already have one.
Not to mention the fact both of them already have one.
Yeah.
So those 2 individuals who are subscribers are not eligible. And if you are an operating member of the show or studio, you are ineligible to enter.
Sorry, Bubba.
So he's not. He doesn't count. He's only been a guest star.
Shut up.
Oh, okay. So we're ruling out Bubba. Got it. Because we can.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm a dick.
All right. So there you go. So there it is. There it's him right there. It's really cool piece. So make sure you help us out and get subscribers. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in the show. I am Rich, and
I'm Raj.
that's right, folks, and we're gone. Remember, the holiday season is coming up. Well, we're in the holiday season, my bad.
We are.
Already in it. Okay? So, hey, enjoy yourself. Don't take shit too seriously. And if somebody looks at you and says happy holiday simply because they're not sure, don't be a dick and go, I celebrate Christmas. Just say Happy Holidays back. If they say Merry Christmas, fuck it, I don't give a damn which religion it is. Just say Merry Christmas back. It's not fucking gonna kill you.
I say seasonal seasonings.
It's not a sin if you say the same thing back to people, so don't take this shit too fucking seriously. Okay, this is supposed to be the time of year where we're all happy and merry to be around everybody. Even
Just
if
don't
they
be like Kwanzaa.
or even if they're asshats. Well, I don't like Kwanzaa. He shot fucking 2 people on a Florida fucking highway.
And missed.
I like people who can aim. But anyway, that's what the holiday season is about. When we get into it, it's not about gifts and shit like that, material items.
I like gifts.
I know you would, but it's about compassion and finding common ground with people and getting along. Unless you're CNN, you know. So, folks, just share the love and compassion. You know, if you see somebody that's not enjoying the holiday season for some other reason, find out why and try to make them smile.
And then kick their ass.
There you go. You know, whatever you can do to help people enjoy the holiday season, same thing on all levels. But folks, for the Rich and Raj show, Raj and Rich show, sorry, it's time for us to get the hell out of here and go. So, folks, we'll see you. Are you going to be back for next week?
Probably not.
Okay, so we may be taking a week off. If so, I'll probably do a world famous Rich Wilson show. Who knows? But anyway, folks, I hope you have yourselves a good night.
That'll do it.
All right, folks, we're off like a prom dress, rolling like a hunchback, doing somersaults. Good night.